hasn't even been a month and I'm already returning to my all Noctua build, mainly because of this. Yeah, that silence, man, you cannot escape it. So let's get into how we built this PC. It's not just the acoustics, I've also missed the aesthetics. Yes, I know Noctua's brown and beige colour scheme might not be the fan favourite of basically anyone out there. However, I absolutely love it. It is definitely my cup of tea. Get it because of the brown and beige? Never mind. I think it fits in quite well with our wooden theme here, especially in our new studio. And by the way, we've got a brand new studio now, so if the sound is ever so slightly off, that's probably why. Anyways, back to the Noctua build. It matches our desk and the cupboards around us, so that's great to see. Anyhow, we're getting upgrades as well because Noctua sent out their NF A12X25 G2s. These are the long-awaited upgrade of the legendary NF A12 120mm fans, and they've got a brand new design with new fan blades, new housing, so everything is literally better with these fans. As for those of you who prefer the understated look of the Chromax fans, to be honest, I'm not too sure where these are in the time frame, but I'm pretty sure there will be a thing eventually. I might ask my rep to see if they're working on them. But that's not the only upgrade we're getting, as we've got a brand new power supply, as Corsair sent out their RM1000X Shift PSU. Now this is a pretty revolutionary power supply standard, as instead of having your modular cables on the back, you can plug them into the side, and now this makes PC building so much easier, especially if you want to plug in your power supply cables after you've built your PC, which before I didn't really recommend, but now it's certainly a possibility, and it doubly helps out if you need to change cables sometime down the line, say if you're upgrading your graphics card or something along those lines. And as I like to tinker with my PC build quite a lot, this is very handy. Also, the 1000 watts of the RM1000X is very handy as well, because we're sticking with the 285K and Z890 platform, so 1000 watts of power will be perfectly fine here. And I just didn't feel like an upgrade was necessary or even possible, because the Ultra 9 285K is perfectly fine in our video editing and gaming workloads, and also pairing that with like the 128 gigs of RAM which we've still got and the bountiful NVMe drives, we're perfectly fine for our platform here, so this doesn't need a change at all. But what will change is the cooler. We've gone back to Noctua's NHD15 G2 as it's the go-to air cooler, and this is an all Noctua PC, so it makes sense. But this allowed us to showcase Noctua's NM IB8 mounting brackets. The 285 and 265K both have an offset hotspot with their CPU design, and this mounting offset pushes the cooler ever so slightly by about 3mm, and it can potentially drop your temperatures by up to 3 degrees, which is something I really like to see from Noctua. Their engineering department is absolutely cool, as they're working tirelessly to find out ways to reduce temperatures even more, so massive W to Noctua there. Going in below the cooler is the RTX 5070 Ti. I felt no need to change this GPU at all. It's perfectly fine for my gaming needs. It's a bit more than what I need, truth be known. However, for video editing, it's absolutely phenomenal, especially now that Adobe's updated Premiere Pro, so it can leverage the Blackwell Media Engine. So video editing on this GPU is absolutely, well, nothing short of a dream, to be honest, because it's ever so smooth. And then before we go back into Windows, all we need to do is adjust some fan curves in the BIOS. For the case fans, I like to use the motherboard temperature sensor instead of the CPU. This stops the fans from ramping up and down constantly, which is very annoying and defeats the whole purpose of buying Noctua fans, or in fact using them. And then for the CPU, we can use the CPU package as the sensor there, because that just makes the most sense. You want that to ramp up when the processor starts to get a bit hot. So with the PC booted up at idle, as you can probably hear right now, it's very, very quiet, and in fact, the only way you're going to get quieter than this at idle is having an idle fan stop at 0 RPM, which these fans are capable of. Anyways, that's all well and good, but under load, if it gets too hot while staying silent, it's not really that good, but thankfully, it's pretty fine. The package for the CPU at idle at least is around 37 degrees C, which is perfectly fine. but when we load up an all-core workload in OCCT, it goes up to 93 degrees C. This is kind of hot, but to be honest, I haven't tuned this processor in any way, shape or form outside of enabling XMP and 200S boost, and it's before thermal throttling anyway, so I've got no problems there. As for the GPU, things are looking better over here. As at idle, we're around 43 degrees C, which is perfectly fine as it's got an idle fan stop. The fans aren't spinning here, so that's actually quite good. But when we load up a 3D load in OCCT with the extreme preset, it goes up to around 68 degrees C, which is well within NVIDIA spec, the throttle at 83 degrees C, so yeah, perfectly fine here, and it's still relatively quiet, even under load where the graphics card is the loudest thing in the system. There's no gaming benchmarks in today's video, but if you want to see how the 5070 Ti gets on, there is a video which you can watch after this one. But before we do that, we're fully back with the Noctua machine. I've absolutely missed it, especially with its silence, and not only that, its aesthetics as well, as it matches our setup like an absolute glove, even more so in the new studio. And just as importantly, none of my parts are thermal throttling, and they're staying relatively cool for the most part. I'm not really going to be hitting the CPU with an all-core workload 24/7, so that's not really that much of a problem there. And to be honest, the 420mm cooler I had before probably did a better job of cooling the CPU, but I'd be kind of worried, I guess, if it wasn't as good as an air cooler like this. So yeah, that's got to be put out there, I suppose. But on the other hand, I think it's one of the best looking PCs I've ever built, and nothing's really changed apart from the lack of RGB in there. I need to get on top of that. There's no 4-pin RGB header on this motherboard, so that's kind of annoying. So it's like a back out zero RGB build as well, which I know quite a lot of you like. Anyways, if you want to pick up some of the parts used in today's video, there will be links in the description below with my Amazon affiliate links. I do make a small kickback with these, but it does really help out the channel. But if you want to see how the RTX 5070 Ti gets on by itself, there's a video up there for that. With that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.